Today on PGTV News, Common Core is no more in the Sunshine State. Find out what the Department of Education has planned to replace the educational standards.
And while the presidential election is still over half a year away, the primaries are on the horizon. Stay tuned to find out when the voter registration deadline is. That's all ahead on PGTV News. Welcome to PGTV News. I'm Stephen Barnes.
And I am Tina Mann. A controversial educational initiative first proposed a decade ago has ended in the state of Florida. On February 7th, the Florida Department of Education announced that Common Core has officially been eradicated from Florida classrooms, including Polk County Public Schools. The DOE is planning to replace the standards with Florida's benchmarks for excellent student thinking, or BEST. According to the Department of Education, these new standards are intended to increase civics and financial literacy, emphasizing classic literature and focusing more on reaching the correct answer, not just the methods. Governor DeSantis said in a statement, these standards create pathways for students that lead to great college and professional outcomes, and parents will now be able to reinforce what their children are learning in the classroom every day. Florida's BEST standards were made by Florida teachers for Florida students, and I know they will be a model for the rest of the nation. I, for one, as a parent who has been clueless as to how to teach my children over the last 10 years, I'm thankful for this. Common Core is something that was taught completely differently and from when we were kids, and as such, you see this homework and you can't even help your kids anymore.
Yeah, I think it'll make a big difference when it comes to the homework, for sure. I think a lot of the classroom, the way the classrooms are structured and everything around Common Core, is going to help retool things a little bit to make it a little easier for teachers and students alike.
And hopefully ease that pressure on teachers a little bit.
Yeah. Well, a new bill in the Florida House of Representatives seeks to consolidate a Polk County Public University into the state's flagship institution. The bill proposed by the House Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee would require Florida Polytechnic University to merge into the University of Florida, becoming a satellite campus of the larger school. According to the subcommittee chair, Randy Fine, this bill is aimed to lower costs. We have an obligation to taxpayers to generate degrees at the lowest possible cost. Unfortunately, degrees earned from Florida Poly and New College cost an order of magnitude more than they do at the other 10 universities, Fine said in a statement. The bill has not been met with open arms. Florida Polytechnic University issued this statement in regards to the bill. Respecting every taxpayer dollar and maximizing the impact of those dollars is clearly at the heart of this legislative proposal. But the facts and the truth show that every dollar at Florida Polytechnic University is already having a maximum positive impact. That's why we respectfully and strongly oppose this unnecessary and unwarranted legislation. Florida Poly grads can expect a return on their investment that is more than 3 times larger than the other universities in the system. It would be a profound mistake for our current and future students and for the state of Florida to diminish Florida Poly's role in meeting this important state objective. Florida Polytechnic was a satellite campus for the University of South Florida before receiving independent accreditation. The House Education Committee heard and advanced the bill on Wednesday. Opponents of the bill planned to speak, but the hearing ran out of time and adjourned. More opportunity to speak will be given at future committee hearings.
Considering how many stories we've done on Polytech and all the internships these kids are doing and all the partnerships these kids are doing and all the, the value-added things that have come about as a result of this university being on its own, I think Florida Poly is absolutely right.
Well, and the other thing that you've got to consider is they aren't an island to themselves. They've been bringing in professors from all over the place. In addition to that, they've just signed new agreements with Polk State College to have credits transfer back and forth so that students who have been going to Polk State College can attend Polytechnic University. So they're not out there doing their own thing. But yeah, like the statement that they made, the students there are seeing big returns on their investment. And Florida Poly has a very specific niche. It's it's all about STEAM. It's all about, you know, technology advancing. So I would have to agree with the school. I think it would be you know, I'm not supposed to commentate, but I think it would be a mistake to combine them.
I agree.
Well, also at Florida Polytechnic University, the school says its research is free of any foreign influences. The question of whether the Polk County School might have had outside influence came in 2019 after a University of Florida chemistry professor was discovered to also be a vice president at a university in China, among other affiliations in that country. The unnamed professor had not revealed any of these connections to either the University of Florida nor National Institutes of Health, which had awarded the professor several grants over the years. It was the NIH that alerted the University of Florida to the professor's affiliations, at which time the university conducted an investigation and discovered that the professor had been actively engaged in Chinese government-sponsored talent recruitment programs. Not only did the unnamed professor, known only as Faculty 1 in investigation documents, receive grants from the NIH, but several Chinese programs as well. The University of Florida investigation also revealed 2 other terminated faculty members had been recipients of China's Thousand Talents program, a Chinese government-funded recruitment initiative. Due to the investigation, the Florida legislature issued inquiries to several schools, including Florida Polytechnic. After an investigation, the school issued this statement: The university is very aware of China's Thousand Talents program and other programs. We have proactively reviewed our policies to make certain that we appropriately promote an open research environment that is a hallmark of U.S. universities, and also make certain that public funding is used in a manner that benefits our university, the state of Florida, and the United States overall. Well, it appears that that some professors wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and
That's quite the situation. I'm glad
Double
that
dip.
Polytech was not involved.
yeah. Well, and I understand there's a lot of other things, not just the universities that are involved in the China recruitment programs, and some doctors and things like that from other hospitals working, you know, double dipping.
I didn't know.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Polk County Public Schools held a job fair recently. The job fair was held at the Winter Haven Public Library and was aimed at finding new bus drivers in attendance, custodial staff, and school nutritionists. If you missed the event and are still interested in applying, you can apply in person for the bus driver or bus attendant positions at the Transportation Office on State Road 60 East in Bartow. For the school nutritionist or custodial positions, call the numbers on your screen. For these or any other job openings at Polk County Public Schools, visit jobs.polk-fl.net.
You know, being a bus driver, that's a very thankless job sometimes.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Screaming kids and still driving. I get.
If you're a bus driver out there,
God bless
here's
you.
to you. Yes. May the Lord richly bless you. The Polk County Sheriff's Office wants you to be aware of a new phone scam that has become a problem across the country. The Sheriff's Office issued an alert for the residents of Polk County, urging you to be cautious when receiving text messages from anyone that you don't know. Some people have reported receiving disturbing images from unfamiliar phone numbers, then messages claiming to be from a drug cartel. The Sheriff's Office says that this is a scam and is intended to scare people so that the receiver believes that they might be targeted for acts of violence. The messages might even include photos of the recipient's home or identifying information gathered from the internet. While the numbers that are used in the scam might appear to be local, this is just a trick used by scammers using internet-based phone numbers. Officials urge everyone not to reply to the text messages from anyone that you don't know. Do not click on any links sent from unfamiliar numbers. If you receive a text message like this, please notify law enforcement immediately and do not reply to the message. Well, in Winter Haven, police are warning of another phone scam. The police department posted an alert on Facebook advising residents that officers will never call if someone has a warrant. Some citizens have received calls demanding bank account details for a supposed investigation. Never give out sensitive information over the phone unless you have verified the identity of the other party. Winter Haven PD says they will never ask for that kind of information over the phone and only issue warrants in person. If you believe that you have received any scam like this, do not hesitate to alert the police.
We're less than 2 months away from the official count of the census. The U.S. Census Bureau has put together the information you need to know to be ready for this once-in-a-decade survey.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more.
How do I take the 2020 census? In March 2020, every address in the country will receive an invitation to complete a simple questionnaire, and there are 3 ways to respond. Number 1, do it online. Number 2, call by phone. Number 3, send it by mail. For those who don't respond, a census taker from your community will follow up and assist you.
Is my 2020 census data safe? After sending your census response, your personal information is kept safe. By law, it can't be shared with any other government agency, law enforcement, or landlord. No one. So take your 2020 census with peace of mind. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Well, not only is the census this year, primary elections in Florida will be held on March 17th. In the Sunshine State primaries, voters can only nominate representatives who are affiliated with their party. That means only Republicans can vote for Republicans, Democrats for Democrats, and independent voters can only cast a ballot for unaffiliated candidates. If you wish to change or declare your party affiliation, you have until February 18th to do so. And Florida law allows you to do so at a variety of locations. Any elections office, some public libraries, driver's license offices, or at a community voter registration event. You also have the option of filling out a voter application online, but will need to deliver a signed copy to the Polk County Supervisor of Elections office located in Bartow. To declare or change party affiliation, you will need to have driver's license or ID card issued by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles.
Got to get out and vote.
Absolutely. Exercise that most important right.
You can't complain about your legislators if you don't vote. That's my role. If you're not gonna get out and do your part to elect them, then you can't complain about them.
And all women should definitely get out to vote,
yes,
because this is our 100th anniversary
Women's
of the
suffrage,
ability to do so, and those women fought hard for that right.
Absolutely.
Hurricane Irma affected Polk County almost 2.5 years ago, and recently the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, has approved a $2.4 million reimbursement to the city of Lakeland for damage the storm caused. The funds must go through an audit process due to the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. City officials say it could take months for the funds to be processed and released to the city. The $2.4 million reimbursement is only for the emergency actions Lakeland Electric took in the first 2 days after the storm to restore power and remove safety risks to residents. That money will be used to replenish the power company's storm disaster fund. Representatives for Lakeland Electric say that the audit is in-depth and will review the company's invoices and expenses related to the storm recovery efforts. According to the public utility, they had asked FEMA for a total of $11.2 million due to damage to the Lakeland Electric building and a power plant. According to Lakeland City Manager Tony Delgado, the city has received less than 3% of its expenses from the storm 2 years after the storm hit the city. At the same time, FEMA had paid out just over $1 billion to other state and local governments for Irma damage.
Well, a nonprofit business Incubator is getting an upgrade. We spoke to Christina Graham, the executive director of Catapult, a co-working space for startups.
Catapult was started by the Lakeland Economic Development Council back in 2014. So they focus a lot on bigger businesses coming to Lakeland and helping existing industry grow, but they decided that they wanted to focus on small businesses as well because entrepreneurs are a heartbeat to a community. And so they decided to start a nonprofit incubator space in 2014 of January. And we opened our doors then, and we thought maybe 20 entrepreneurs would come in here and use our space to work and take advantage of our education programs. And within a couple months, we had over 100 entrepreneurs working out of this space. So it quickly grew, and this was a test experiment. So we got this space rent-free for 3 years. We're going on year 6. We've been testing it for a while, but we quickly, after about 6 months, we decided we need to start working on our expansion plans, and so we started looking at other property that we could look to or other spaces that we could expand into, and so that's what we're getting ready to do. We closed on the cash feed building in December of 2015, so we've been on this journey for quite some time. After that, we started working on our architectural plans. We did start doing some site work, and we were getting ready for a lot of different pieces. We had refurbished some windows and things like that. And I think it was September 2017, Hurricane Irma came through, and the building was condemned, and we had to tear it down, unfortunately. So after that, we had to decide what we wanted to do, but we ultimately decided it's about the people we're serving. It's not about a facility as much as we love that space. And so we've tried to pay homage to that facility and design it very similarly. But we had to go back to the drawing board and build a completely brand new facility. And so we are getting very close to opening that, and we're super excited about it. Our second and third floor will be opening March 2nd for our members to move in. And then we hope that our first floor, which will have our maker space and our commercial kitchen, we hope that'll follow about a month to 6 weeks later. Anybody that's interested in joining Catapult as a member, we have an application process on our website. We're very intentional with the people that we feel that we can best serve. And so we have an application process. They can fill that out online. They can call us or email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that they might have about the different spaces, because we do serve a variety of entrepreneurs, everything from your tech startup to your culinary startup and everything in between.
I love the idea of these co-working spaces. Catapult's a great example. You know, as a small business, one of the most expensive parts of a small business is overhead. And you just don't have the money to go rent a space on your own. So these co-work spaces provide the perfect solution for that.
Right. People really questioned when it came about whether this was going to be successful or whether this was a good idea. But they've been around for a while, and some very successful businesses now got their start. They're like Born and Bred Bakehouse. I believe that their start was there, and they give advice, and it's like a collaborative environment. So it's really cool. Lakeland may be known for its swans, but another Polk County city is looking to promote its own animal symbol. Last year, the Winter Haven City Commission adopted the zebra longwing butterfly as the city's mascot, and now the city's Cultural Arts Advisory Committee wants to celebrate the new symbol across the city. We spoke to committee representatives about the project.
I'm Judy Cleaves. I'm chairperson of the Cultural and Arts Advisory Council for Winter Haven, Florida. The Cultural Advisory Committee was formed about 4 years ago by Brad Dantzler, the current mayor of Winter Haven. And our main purpose is to make people aware of the arts in Winter Haven and perhaps inspire them to create more public art. Some of the projects that we've accomplished are here in the park. We put in the little free libraries with the help of the Friends of the Library, where people can come by and take a book and replace it if they'd like. And the libraries are painted by individual artists, so they're quite creative and attractive, and they're all around the city. We also had our utility boxes painted by different artists, so they're also colorful and add a little pizzazz to our downtown. One of my favorite projects was our piano initiative. We have a couple of pianos that were painted by artists, and one is located at the library where folks who can play just come along and do impromptu concerts or sing-alongs. We're also really proud that we were able to put together a brochure that's quite colorful that shows where our public art is located in Winter Haven, in addition to our Jean Leedy designs and many of our other artistic endeavors.
My name is Curtis Flanders, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Cultural Arts Advisory Committee for the City of Winter Haven. So the Cultural Arts Advisory Committee has been working for a while now on trying to establish a city mascot. For a long time, we went back and forth trying to find out what that mascot could be. The committee ultimately decided that the zebra longwing butterfly would be the best mascot. So in 2002, 2003, the city of Lakeland did a project called Swansation. We'd like to try and mirror that project in Winter Haven. But instead of swans, we would like to use our mascot with the zebra longwing butterfly. The Cultural Arts Advisory Committee for the City of Winter Haven would like to see fiberglass statues across the City of Winter Haven in the shape of our mascot, the zebra longwing butterfly. These would be sponsored by local businesses and private entities, and then would be publicly displayed after being painted by local and visiting artists.
Well, thanks for watching this edition of PGTV News.
Next is the board review, but as we go to break, here's a list of events coming up in the community.
Thanks for watching.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers paid training to take advantage of your interests in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Learn about all the STEM career opportunities at nationalguard.com.
Welcome to the Board Review with news about your county government. I'm your host, Tricia Pichette. Today you'll learn about County Commission actions from the February 4th, 2020 board meeting. A consultant services authorization agreement with Johnson Engineering, Inc. was approved to provide services for the creation of sidewalk segments along Old Dixie Highway, North Galloway Road, and Swindell Road. These 4 sidewalk segments had been reviewed and ranked by the Sidewalk Committee, and the agreement will provide for early design, construction plans, and post-construction plans. The board approved change order number 3 to the Construction Manager at Risk agreement with Miller Construction Management, Inc. for the Roads and Drainage Division Office Annex project. Keith Tate, Polk's Facilities Management Division Director, took some time to discuss the impacts it will have.
The change order involves enclosing an existing open structure for the purpose of storage of equipment, and in the event of a natural disaster such as a hurricane, being able to store emergency materials and supplies inside the structure during the hurricane or storm event.
As Polk County continues to grow and demands are put on its resources, more efficient means of delivering those resources must be developed. In this project, the board approved nearly $7 million for the construction contract with Vogel Brothers Building Company for the Cherry Hill Water Production Facility. Mark Addison from Polk County Utilities addressed what this means for the county.
It's part of a regionalization effort for Polk County, whereby we're reducing the number of water production facilities, taking some of the older facilities out of operation, and consolidating our water production facilities to provide additional storage, fire flow, better reliability, and capacity for future growth. So from that perspective, it'll be a large benefit to the community.
The board also approved and ratified a letter of agreement from the State of Florida's Agency for Healthcare Administration for the Public Emergency Medical Transportation Medicaid Managed Care Supplement Payment Program. Polk Fire Chief Robert Weech explains what this $1.1 million program means for Polk residents.
Polk County Fire Rescue was asking permission from the board to be involved in what they call a managed care program. And really what it is an extension of transport fees when we take a patient or a county or a visitor for Polk County to the hospital. And so the Florida Fire Chiefs, they did some lobbying effort with the Federal Medicaid Association to get additional funds for transport fees. And basically what they said was that transport fees aren't enough. We're not collecting enough to cover the actual service. And so they went through the first part of this program was to get more from Medicaid. Polk County was successful in getting that. It amounts to about $450,000 a year. The second part of the program was to approach the managed care providers like Aetna and some of these other big providers to also get more from them under the same premise. What we collect in transport fees aren't enough to provide a service. So it's an opportunity for Polk County to lessen the burden on the taxpayer and at the same time get reimbursed for some of the services that we provide. So we're excited about it. We think it'll be a great program and we look forward to continued success.
The board approved an agreement with Audiovisual Innovations, Inc. to provide Polk County's Emergency Operations Center with new and improved audiovisual equipment, supplies, and services. This project is not to exceed $191,000. The board adopted a resolution that authorizes the issuance of utility systems revenue and refunding bonds, which costs about $120 million. Here to talk more about this project is Polk County Clerk and Comptroller Stacy Butterfield.
Today we had a resolution authorizing the Clerk and Comptroller to issue bonds for the county. We're looking at issuing utility bonds for the county, taking advantage of the historic low interest rates. And we have an authorization to complete the transaction for the board. And the neat thing about the impact to the residents is we are looking at a potential savings of $5 to $7 million on this particular transaction because we are combining a refunding with the new issuance. So, and the rating agencies have upgraded us. S&P upgraded the county, which is excellent. So great job, Polk County.
Cascara Phase 2 plot received a vote by the board for conditional approval. Kathy Case was appointed to serve as a member of the Housing Finance Authority for the remainder of a 4-year term that ends in January 2021. In public hearings during the afternoon session, the board held several public hearings on a variety of items. Those items up for consideration included a portion of the maintained and platted right-of-way for McCall Road in South Lakeland was vacated by the board. The change will allow the owner of the property to pursue residential development of the property. A proposed large-scale comprehensive plan map amendment was withdrawn Tuesday. Consideration of a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment was continued until 1:30 p.m. on May 5th. A Land Development Code text amendment to allow the Florida Department of Transportation to authorize driveways on US 27 closer than the 1,320 feet for the North Ridge Circle K property was approved Tuesday. The board voted to dissolve the Fox Branch Ranch Community Development District, which has been declared inactive by the state. The board approved 2 separate but related measures that impact the triple canopy property east of Lake Wales. In the first measure, a large-scale comprehensive plan map amendment to change the future land use designation from agriculture residential rural to leisure recreation in the rural development area, which is about 345 acres. In the second measure, the board approved an amendment to the Polk County Land Development Code Appendix E and Appendix E 105-L. The board also approved an ordinance that provides for the designation of the county seal, its uses, and enforcement relating to the use of the seal. Well, that wraps up this edition of the Board Review. To keep current with programs and progress in the county, visit us online at polk-county.net or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We encourage you to join us at the next scheduled board meeting at 9 a.m. Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. I'm Tricia Pichette. Thanks for watching.